Hi everyone, Danny from Precode.com here. Today, for my Patreon bonus for the month of August, I'll be giving you a brief tour of my house and all the cool memorabilia I've got, just in case you're ever interested. Right now I'm in my guest bathroom. Don't judge me based on how well the mirror is cleaned. Hanging over our torre is a poster for Jaws, which I'm sure many people appreciate. And then I also have this poster, Japanese poster for Roman Holiday I got while I was in Japan. Of course, Audrey Hepburn's gaze follows you directly into the shower. It's like she's Anthony Perkins. Okay, not really. It's also I got this cool art on Etsy many moons ago. Some Audrey Hepburn figures. My wife loves Audrey Hepburn. I'm a fan too, so it works out. Also, speaking of, this is one of my wife's anniversary presents. This is an original poster for How to Steal a Million. One of her favorite Audrey Hepburn movie. I think it's pretty good too, but you know. In our guest room, we have my poster for Dark of the Sun, which I love. That's an original. Also for Unbelievable Truth, which is my favorite Hal Hartley film. This is a reissue for Singing in the Rain when they re-released in the theaters. That's an original Wrath of Khan, in case you ever wanted to see one of those. When I worked at a comic book store in Denver, I picked that one up for like $25. Got a good discount on it. And then, of course, Arabesque. I just like the tagline, Ultra Mod, Ultra Mad, Ultra Mystery. And then you got some good art on there too, because who doesn't like see Gregory Peck? I don't know, is he just doing jumping jacks or something? I don't know what he's doing there. Okay, that's the guest room. Let's see. My main hallway are Japanese posters I picked up when I lived in Tokyo. So I'm a big fan of this Gone with the Wind poster. I like Vivian Lee's expression on it. Of course, everybody who follows my site knows I'm a big fan of The Lost Patrol, so that one's there. I also adore Connie Francis, which I don't admit to very often, so you're lucky this time. And there's a big picture of Liberace there, which is, for my people who visit know who that is, probably enjoy that quite a bit. Princess Bride, of course, a classic. My wife loves it, one of her favorite movies. We actually saw it on the big screen in Montgomery a few months ago. And of course, Queen Christina with Greta Garbo, which this is not the last time you'll see a Queen Christina poster, which has been a subject of many discussions with my wife, but you know, you'll get what you get. All right. Oh, on the other wall, sorry, I don't want to make you too dizzy. This is a Belgian poster from Marie Antoinette. So just like Norma Shear. I like that it's green as well, and they have the stamps that says permitted to be posted. Mise en scène de W.S. Van Dyke. Here's some lobby cards. This is from Maisie Was a Lady. I just love the color on this. It really pops. I don't know how easy it is to tell. Also, Margaret O'Sullivan looks really good there. This is opposite of that. This is A No Time for Comedy, which is a terrible film, but it does have Genevieve Tobin and Rosalind Russell, so it has its moments. Again, Audrey Hepburn theme. Here, this is actually a lobby book. So in Japan, it's really common to get programs still with films. So this is, I believe it was either a lobby book or like an advertising booklet for Two for the Road. And I just love that it has a really beautiful picture of Audrey Hepburn, and it's not at all like the movie, but it's a really nice picture. So let's do my living room next, so I won't make you too dizzy. Welcome to the sun. All right. In my living room, I have a giant poster for 36 Hours. When I lived in Japan, I learned how to do custom framing, so all I had to do was pay for the materials. Haven't found a place to do that here, but whatever. So this only cost me about $100 to frame, which is great. Then next to that is a face in the crowd. This is a lobby card. Not lobby card, what am I thinking of? Half sheet. There's a half sheet next to another Queen Christina poster. So the other one was Japanese. I think this one is Belgian, or I just think everything's Belgian. Maybe that's it. I love this one too. And then Betty Davison's Storm Center. As a librarian, it just felt important to showcase the movie where Betty Davis plays a librarian in the middle of my living room. And that's great Saul Bass art right there too. It's not used in all the posters, so I just really like that. It's not a very good movie, but you know, what are you gonna do? Here's a reproduction for Duck Soup. So this wall was all reds and oranges, you can tell. As I do color coordinate my walls. Let's see if this will focus in. Might be too bright. There we go. This is Metropolis. This is a Mondo poster. I usually can't stand Mondo posters at all, but I really love the detail on this one. I'm not intentionally zooming in on her boob, I'm sorry. Here you go. See all the different specters and I also really like movie posters. Like, if you're gonna do a reproduction movie poster, you better do one with the cast and the production company info and logos and everything, because that means a lot to me. because I'm weird like that. And that's actual custom frame. Grand total, everything in this picture right here, the poster and the lining, that's probably about $500. Anyway, thank you for supporting my Patreon, now that I have no money. I did this like 5 years ago when I was working full-time, so, in software engineering. That's a long story, but yeah, I like that one. This corner over here, these are also half sheets, or whatever they are. That's for Americanization of Emily and Gambit, which is another movie I really like. I just love the picture on that one. Okay, these are reproductions. Murder My Sweets, Amelie, and Penthouse, because, well, actually, Amelie isn't, but Murder My Sweet's a reproduction because those posters usually go for about $1,000, and then Penthouse, I don't even want to know what a vintage Penthouse goes for, but the movie Penthouse, you know what I mean. This Amelie poster is actually one I got when I worked in my first video store, so this is original from its video release in 2001. Aren't you excited for that? You may also notice that it's been trimmed down because these are 26 by 36 frames. 24 by 36, excuse me. This is an original Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie poster. So there you go. What else is in here? Oh. And then I have a poster for Matinee, which is one of those movies that was very formative to me when I was a kid. I got it on VHS and watched it all the time. Very funny, very sweet film. Good stuff. Go through the living or the left here. I have a very small house, but bigger than the one I used to have, so I take it. Up by the door is a Japanese pamphlet, program, a Japanese program for The Thin Man Goes Home. Got that framed. So, fun fact, just in case you're curious, you can still buy programs in Japan. So if you go to see a movie, you can give them like $5 and you get a program, which is amazing because it comes with interviews and lots of pictures and behind the scenes detail. This I got for like $5. This was, I think this release was from 1948 or 49. So the American films, obviously, this one I think came out originally in like 45, but American films during World War II did not come out in Japan at the same time they did in the States. This is a few years after the movie would have come out in the States. This is from, because that's when the release would have been. Oh, by my front door, I do have still from Animal Crackers and I Love Lucy with Harpo because my wife loves Lucy. So there you go. I add some of this down, but we'll see. Here's my bookshelf. I meant to do this as a combined book and video thing, but I have a small child, and as you can tell, my shelf is just a mess right now. So more on that later. Degrees. Oh, here we go. This is a still of Anne Dvorak that Christina Rice gave me, which I really appreciate. It's really cool. And then I got this for that time I did a lecture about pre-code Hollywood in Japan, in Tokyo. I didn't say I got this. I was given this, which was a very sweet gift. It is another oh my god, program. It's a program for Shadow of the Thin Man. And the way I got it framed is you can actually pull it out and look through it too. It's made out of a newspaper, which is pretty different, but because they didn't have resources to use at the time, understandable. Ooh, trying to get too much light in there. All right, and then this is a French poster for 1 Hour with You, which I think people also know is one of my favorite pre-codes. Genevieve Tobin, Jeanette MacDonald, and Maurice Chevalier. This is a French. I do think it's a reissue. They say on the site it's from its original run, but it does say it's a film from Universal, which Universal bought the rights to Paramount's library in the 40s, 50s. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a reissue poster. But never know. Oh, sorry. Over on this wall is another one of my favorite posters, which I keep in here. It's Japanese for It Happened One Night. All right, move past here, some more wine. All right, so coming up on the end of my tour here, there's a Japanese poster for It Happened One Night. I just love the art on this. This is a reissue poster. Obviously not from actual 1930s, but it's really pretty. Some of my neighbor Totoro art. I did live in Japan. Wine, here's the TCM Classic one, which I will be drinking soonish rather than later. And then this corner over here is my corner, so as opposed to all the other rest of the house. Here's the still of Genevieve Tobin. This is from Lady in Red, I believe. Woman in Red, I don't remember. This is actually an autograph photo that she did. This would have been early 20s when she was working on Broadway. Yeah, I got that nicely framed. And last bit. here are my other Genevieve Tobin pictures, which my wife thinks I have a problem, but really it's like 5 pictures and a poster and a still, so it's not that bad. Yeah, here she is. Some more. No, these last ones from Petrified Forest. The last thing I have up is this reproduction of Jezebel. Again, this would be a poster that goes for about $1,500. My wife has said no, so we'll see what happens. And then below that is my workstation, in case you ever wanted to see how messy I keep my stuff, because this is actually cleaned. So there you go. That's my that's all my decorations in my house. I do have a garage full of posters. It's not very exciting, but you know, let's go check that out too. My garage. What a wonderful place. All right, these are all repros. These are small 11 by 17s. I used to use them on my staircase. I don't have a staircase, so they're in my garage. All right, go over here. This is actually an original Cook, Thief, Wife, Lover poster, but it's seen better days. DC Film Festival, yay! Trouble in Paradise. This is a repro, but it's really cool. Like, I just don't have any room for it in the house right now. My 2-thing pile, I have 7 Days May poster my wife won't let me put up. And then I have a white zombie Mondo print that actually glows in the dark, which is pretty cool. I am worried that it will freak out my 1-year-old, so I have not hung it yet. So. And then on my wall over here is all the dollar posters I bought over the last few years, which is posters I probably shouldn't have bought because they're either not in the best condition, like Private Life, aren't that great, like Fate is the Hunter, or I just bought because they were really cheap, like Swing Shift. But there you go. It's exciting. You can kind of see Uma Thurman's head over there. It's a Mulan poster that's kind of gutted up. Non-reissue poster. I like it because it's got a really funny picture of May Clark on it. It's exciting, isn't it? Let's see if I can get you to May. Okay. So that about does it for my tour. Oh, there's a Mission Impossible Japanese poster behind all this junk. So those shows were combined and edited into theatrical releases in Japan. So there you go. You actually learned something during all of this. But yeah, I find poster collecting really fun. Expensive though, which is why I've tried to stop, especially once I got into framing. But you know, it's a fun and exciting hobby full of jerks and weirdos, which is pretty much every hobby nowadays. So don't feel like it's anything special. All right, well, I'm gonna turn this around and see how bad I can mess up. Thank you for joining, and thank you for being a patron.